What if I told you that the perfect TV for your living room isn't just about the brand, but about where you sit, or even when you decide to buy? We're diving deep into the world of mini LEDs, viewing angles, and that burning question: are you really ready to buy a TV for the PlayStation 6 right now? Let's kick things off with a fantastic question from Richard Alvanos, who asks why we don't talk more about viewing angles on LCD TVs. He wants to know which one gives the best off-center picture so everyone can truly enjoy the show. Richard, you've hit on a crucial point. For years, we've faced a trade-off: deep blacks and stunning contrast, or wide viewing angles. That's because most high-end mini LEDs use VA, or vertical alignment, panels. They give you those inky blacks that almost rival an OLED, but they can wash out if you're sitting too far to the side. The alternative, IPS panels, give you those wide viewing angles, but historically, they sacrifice some of that contrast. However, the game is changing. In mid-tier and even budget models, we're seeing more ADS Pro or HVA panels. These are like the best of both worlds, offering improved viewing angles without completely abandoning contrast. Now, if you're asking for the absolute best off-angle performance I've personally seen in a mini LED, that crown goes to the Sony Bravia 9. But honestly, at its premium price point, it should excel at everything. Think of it like this: the Bravia 9 is the luxury SUV that handles every terrain with grace. You pay for that assurance. But don't count out other players. Samsung's QN90C from 2023, for example, used an ADS panel. I've lived with this TV myself for 2 years, and from my couch to the kitchen, the picture remains vibrant. Sure, put it next to an OLED, and you'd spot the difference. But in everyday living, those wider angles often make a bigger impact than chasing a few extra nits of contrast. Ultimately, unless your living room looks like a bowling alley with seating at extreme angles, most higher-end LED TVs today from brands like Samsung, Sony, Hisense, and TCL will serve you just fine. They are continuously refining those VA panels, striking a better balance between deep contrast and wider views. If you frequently host large groups, consider a larger screen, or perhaps a slight furniture rearrangement. But for most of us, off-angle viewing isn't the showstopper it once was. Next up, Harshiksh007 from India is wrestling with a common dilemma: TCL or Hisense QLED or Mini LED versus a standard Samsung 4K LED. He's looking for a 55 to 75-inch model and isn't a gamer. Harshiksh, you've already made a smart distinction here. When it's a choice between a Hisense or TCL Mini LED and a standard Samsung LED TV, the answer is clear: go with the Mini LED from Hisense or TCL. Brands aside, you're simply going to get a superior picture with Mini LED technology. It offers better brightness control, deeper blacks, and more vibrant colors than a traditional LED. Now, if you're pitting a Samsung Mini LED against its counterparts, that's a different conversation, and it really depends on the specific model series. But for pure performance per dollar, especially when you're comparing a cutting-edge Mini LED to an older standard LED tech, the newer tech almost always wins. Alright, let's talk about the future, specifically with Deathstalker83, who's asking for the best $500 to $600 QLED Mini LED 4K TV with Dolby Vision and HDMI 2.1 ports to prepare for the PlayStation 6 in about 2 years. Mr. Death, you're not just stalking out a deal, you're trying to predict the future. And that's where this gets tricky. My first thought, almost a perfect fit, is the Panasonic W95A Mini LED. It hits many of your marks: Dolby Vision, 2 HDMI 2.1 ports, and a native 144Hz refresh rate, which is excellent for potential PlayStation 6 specs like 4K at 120 frames per second. However, there's a significant caveat. On the W95A, variable refresh rate and local dimming can't work simultaneously. That means your HDR gaming experience might not be as dynamic as other options. Still, it often falls within your $600 budget with summer discounts. For other strong current options, consider the Hisense U6QF or the TCL QM6K. At 65 inches, they typically hover around that $600 mark. If you can manage a 55-inch set, the Hisense U7QG or TCL QM7K will give you an even brighter, punchier picture, though they nudge closer to $700. And if your budget really stretches, The Hisense U8QG is one of this year's top mini LED TVs, sometimes discounted around $850. But here's the honest truth, from your tech-savvy friend. Why buy now? If your ultimate goal is to prep for the PlayStation 6, we're likely looking at a 2027 release window, or potentially even later if we see delays. TV technology evolves at a staggering pace. What's cutting edge and a great deal today will be significantly surpassed, both in features and price, by the time the PS6 actually arrives. My advice: if you absolutely must buy a TV this year, wait for the big November sales to maximize your budget. But truthfully, holding off until we have a firmer PS6 release date will give you so much more TV for your money. You'll avoid buyer's remorse and get a display truly optimized for that next-gen console. So, whether you're chasing the perfect viewing angle, navigating brand choices, or trying to future-proof your gaming setup, remember that patience and understanding the underlying tech always pay off. Don't just buy a TV, invest in the experience. What do you think? Are you willing to wait for the next big thing, or are you upgrading your living room now? Let us know your thoughts, and make sure you subscribe for more insights into the tech that shapes our lives. We'll catch you next time.